Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. As you can see by the title, we're going to be taking another look at Mr. Russell Babineau. So, disclaimer, for those who may not know, man, I'm from wrestling. I graduated from wrestling high. I'm from wrestling alumni. Obviously, week one, Acadiana and Wrestling played. Wrestling was able to pull off the victory against Acadiana, but Acadiana wanted me over, man, and I had became an Acadiana fan, and I was rocking with Acadiana going all the way throughout the season. I was really pushing for them to try to make a push towards maybe going back to another state championship. Unfortunately, they fell a little short, but, I was rocking with them heavy, man. But for this video specifically, we're going to focus on Mr. Russell Babineau, man. Mr. Russell Babineau is a 5'7", 160-pound wide receiver coming out of Acadiana High School. He's committed to ULL. 24/7 Sports has him ranked as a 3-star recruit with an 88 player rating. He has college offers from Auburn, Florida State, LSU, Mississippi State, Mississippi Valley State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. So he has some pretty big schools looking at him, man. So that speaks volume to him as an athlete, especially kind of being undersized as well. If I didn't state it earlier, I'm gonna state it again. Even if I did, he is committed to ULL, by the way. So for his high school athletic background, he ran a junior time for 100 meter of 10.93, pretty speedy guy, and a 11.2. Member of Acadiana's Louisiana 5A state, qualifying 4x100 and 4x200 relays. Posted an 11.44 100 and a 23.23 200 as a sophomore in spring 2023. Ran 100 times of 11.43 and 11.52 as a freshman in spring 2022. Added 200 meter times of 23.45 and 23.56 per Mr. Gabe Brooks. Now, I like to always give a full after high school athletic background, whether it was from their freshman year up until their senior year, just kind of give you guys a detail of how good of an athlete and how versatile a lot of these young men are. So I always go through and not just do their senior year, but their freshman year as well. So now we're going to jump into my evaluation. So for my evaluation, I put Mr. Russell Babineau is a 5'7", 160-pound wide receiver who competes in the select 5A division. Now, I always tell you guys, one of the things I always speak about, and once again, I'm going to make sure that I state this in every video whenever I get to this point when I say level of competition. When I say level of competition, I don't want people to think that I'm saying that if you're under 5A, well, like if you're under 5A, 4A, if you like, maybe 3A, 2A, or 1A, then you're not really good. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that you have to kind of look at the level of competition. Like a lot of times when you have guys that's like at 1A and 2A, and, in those smaller divisions, a lot of times, man, they're just that much better than a lot of the guys that they're going up against. And a lot of the guys that they're going up against are probably not going to be guys that's going to be going to top programs on the next level. So I always say when you look at level of competition, and you see that they're dominating, they're doing their thing on a 5A, that speaks volumes to them. And I think that, in terms of the adaptation, being able to adapt to the next level and playing against equal level competition or just as good competition will be a lot better than you just being at a smaller division and dominating. And sometimes I think, too, that can even diminish the work ethic because it becomes so easy to you. You know what I mean? So it really takes away from your preparation because you just like, man, I know I'm going to go out there and dominate, so I don't got to, take this practice serious. I don't got to take these reps serious. I don't have to do this and do that. I don't have to dedicate myself to film just because I'm just that much athletic. So that's why I always bring that up. He is a undersized, he's very undersized, even as a slot receiver, if you're talking about going to the next level and even possibly further than that, being that he's 5'7", but that doesn't mean that he can't do it. I mean, you look at guys like Cavante Turpin, you look at guys like Tavon Austin, guys who dominated on the next level and then was able to get higher to that. So you can never shortchange anybody. But I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, most people are going to look at the size and kind of be like, I don't know. He comes from a veer offense, which means he can be a added value to run support in terms of blocking. If you're familiar with a veer offense, then you kind of understand what I mean by that. With him being undersized, I think he would be better utilized like a Swiss Army knife, meaning he could be used to line up outside a little bit more slot and backfield heavy, similar to his role in the Acadiana's offense. So depending on what team he goes to, and I think that probably was a deciding factor in him signing the ULL, it's like, okay, how am I going to be better utilized, and what offensive system will I thrive more in? You know what I mean? And what ULL might have offensively, the play caller, it kind of fits what he brings to the table in terms of a player. He's a very high energy player. That's something that I love. You know what I mean? Like, I love those guys that's hype, that makes those plays because they get everybody going. You know, you want that type of person to go out there in the first play, whether it's a block or whether it's an explosive catch or a run or a catch and run, and get up with that energy. It kind of hypes everybody up. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that I love to see in a player. His competitiveness makes up for what he may lack in size. He also shows potential as a special teams threat, returning punts and kicks. I think he even returned one on his huddle. I'm not quite sure how often he did return them. He probably returned more. He just didn't put them in here. And like I said, that's the thing about looking at the huddle. We only can see so much of it, you know what I mean? But I just try to get as good of a description I can within the time frame that I have watching it. So, you know, normally like I do at the end, at the end of every video, my third segment is I kind of talk about, okay, you know, what makes a good receiver. So, you know, a good wide receiver has a combination of speed, agility, and ball skills. They also need to be able to adjust to different situations, such as catching the ball in a crowd or making quick cuts. Now, being that he's big, you know, kind of undersized, he probably isn't going to be the biggest threat in the red area, being that everything is kind of a lot more confined and a lot more bunched up there. You know how I always talk about the bigger body guys. You can just throw it up there on those fade routes or a hitch route where they can kind of use their body as a weapon and box out the defenders to make tough catches. That's not necessarily his MO, but he can be utilized in a lot of other aspects of the game as well. They have to have ball skills. They need to be able to catch the ball in the crowd, limit drops, and have a large catch radius. They need to be able to catch jump balls, post, shallow, slant, or hitches. A lot of his catches I seen, you know, like they was fairly, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say he was smothered, but it was in a pretty decent pocket in terms of a defender in his presence. You know what I mean? I would have to dive a little bit deeper to see in terms of, does he drop the ball often? Is he a secure catcher? I mean, from watching him, it looks like most of the catches he's making with his hand and not his body. So like I always say, that shows that he has confidence in his hands. Route running, they need to have a sense of space and direction. They need to be able to set up defenders. They need to have fluid footwork. That's something I haven't seen enough of. Obviously, like I say, highlights can only show you so much, but I would like to see a little bit more of his route running just to see how effective he is there. They need to be able to avoid obstacles and move their body in space. They need to have upper body flexibility, and they need to have explosiveness and jumping ability. And something else I would say too is that I would like to see with him and even any other receivers that I cover in the future is the effort that they give, meaning that, okay, when the ball isn't put, and that kind of goes to the catch radius, when the ball isn't put right where you want it to be or where it should be in between your numbers on those passes, on passes, are you still giving effort? Like if the ball is overthrown, are you still trying to make an effort to catch? If the ball is underthrown, are you trying to fight back underneath to possibly make a catch or to possibly get a hold more pass interference call? Those are things that speaks volume. Those are things that's going to separate you from the competition, especially going to the next level. But man, that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that post notification bell. That way you be notified every time I upload, man, 'cause I got these videos dropping back to back. You don't want to miss no upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video, man. I'm out this thing. Peace.